COVID-19 has been a lot of things to a lot of people. For those who have children on the autism spectrum, it has certainly been a struggle. For parents with children who are on the dyslexia continuum, it has been chaotic, to say the least. Our neurodivergent communities are certainly suffering behind all of the pandemonium and the pandemic of COVID-19. So I am going to be presenting some information today with regard to some apps to help manage autism during COVID-19. Let's get started. So first and foremost, I always like to start my presentation with providing context around who I am, and to also set the expectations so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into by listening. So I am Jeannette Washington, the founder of Barely Articulating. I've worked as a speech language pathologist. I am trained in the LETTERS curriculum, which allows me to provide intervention to those with dyslexia. I've worked as a software engineer. Also, I facilitate speeches all around the world. So I'm technically an international speaker. And finally, I am the author of the book, Technical Difficulties, Why Dyslexic Narratives Matter in Tech. So as we set the expectations for our conversation today, it is titled Apps to Help Manage Autism During COVID-19. The expectations will be to define what the autism spectrum disorder is, to discuss the purpose of specific mobile apps, and finally, I want to empower you to be creative and to locate further research around this particular topic. According to Autism Speaks, autism refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. Working as a speech language pathologist, I can say that I have interfaced with all of these indicators. Social skills, meaning that there are oftentimes awkward social interactions. Repetitive behaviors can look a lot like echolalia, and saying sounds over and over and over again. Finally, with speech and nonverbal communication, I've worked in the capacity with augmentative and alternative communication devices, which help to communicate different actions and experiences by using pictures or icons. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, autism is known as a spectrum, air quotes, disorder because there is a wide variation in the type and severity of symptoms people experience. So whether you're a child with autism or an adult with autism, there is this very large range of severities that you can fall under. So I've seen some people say or acknowledge that Asperger's syndrome is going to be on the more highly functioning side. So just think about potentially a rainbow, a continuum, a spectrum that intersects in different ways. So all of these indicators or symptoms may not be the same. All of these indicators and symptoms may be on higher degrees or levels within that space. So there are 3 levels of support, and the University of North Carolina has put together some research to show all 3 of these different levels. The first is requiring support. Some of the traits can include inflexibility, poor organizational skills and planning, poor social skills and interactions, and some difficulties switching between tasks and activities. Level 2 is requiring substantial support, meaning you'll have marked difficulties in verbal and nonverbal communication, noticeable difficulties in changing activities or focus, and finally, restrictive behaviors that can be repetitive, as we discussed a little earlier. Finally, level 3 is going to be requiring very substantial support. That can look like traits, as in many will express basic needs only, very odd, repetitive behaviors, very limited speech, or as I like to say, pre-language, pre-linguistic. The communication skills are potentially there. However, there is a disruption in our speech and how we're getting that communication conveyed. Next, severe difficulties in verbal and nonverbal communication. Some common challenges that we will see along the continuum or the spectrum of autism will be to lose words early, repeat phrases or words that they just heard, using a robotic or sing-song speaking voice, use challenging behaviors instead of words or gestures to communicate what they want. That last bullet, I always like to tell people, especially when a child is behaving non-typically, that they are communicating something to you or communicating something about their environment. And it's not always our call to try to punish that child or to try to help them deviate from that behavior, but to understand what their behavior is communicating. All right, so just a quick poll. You can go ahead and hop into the comments and let me know, what type of apps do you currently use? Now, this can be for you as a parent working with an autistic child, or this can be an autistic adult that's navigating the workspace or life. What type of apps are you using? Are you using meditation apps? Are you using art apps, music apps, or apps that are fulfilling your academic needs or nourishing your educational senses? What types of apps are you using? I will say all 4 have been found to be very effective for really pacing ourselves through this continuum or the spectrum. So I have used meditation apps, art apps, music apps, and some academic apps for my learners to make sure that they have what they need to succeed. So the first app I want to talk to us about is a free AAC app, and AAC is simply the acronym for Augmentative Alternative Communication. It is an app that supports communication in all areas of life and therefore providing a voice to everyone. It's called Let Me Talk. So I got a couple reviews from the Let Me Talk app from some clients and from online to understand how this app has been being used and how effective it is. So as you see, it has 5 stars for both iPhone and Android, and it is free. Okay, it's an image database that contains more than 9,000 easy to understand images, and you can actually upload images from your camera to utilize it. Let Me Talk utilizes no internet connection or mobile contract that is necessary, and it can be used in any situation like hospitals, nursing homes, or schools. So basically, you can line up images in a meaningful way to read this row of images as a sentence. And that is how Let Me Talk is utilized. Next, we have Endless Reader. And as you'll see again, this is available for iPhone and Android, and it's given 5 stars on each platform, and it is also free. So this one is all about learning sight words. Kids will have a blast using this. My son uses it. They have the cute monsters like you see here that have cool interactive word puzzles, letters that come alive. Like for instance, see the dog as a barking dog and then the word up. So you can reach for the sky. So different instances occur in this particular app. It's a great educational app. There is a paid version or some ways where you can purchase different add-ons for Endless Reader. But again, it's really helpful to creating that language-rich environment for the child or for the adult, as I stated earlier. Sometimes I'll use child and adult simultaneously, but I mean anyone on that autism spectrum that wants to gain further leverage through using any of these apps. And again, the Let Me Talk app was an AAC app. Then we have the Endless Reader, which is going to assist with helping build your vocabulary. Next, we have the Hopster Saturday Club for Kids. Unfortunately, this app is only available on iPhones and iPads. It is free and it has 3 stars out of the 20 rankings or ratings. Doesn't have a whole lot of ratings yet, but I will say that I have used it and I found it was super essential as a means to helping children to recognize facial expressions, use emotional vocabulary, matching feelings and expressions, understanding their emotions, and to feel and show empathy for others. As we discussed earlier, social interactions can be a little skewed for those who are on the autism spectrum. So something like this Hoopster Saturday Club for Kids can help to identify emotions and help them to gather social cues by recognizing the different feelings that the people or the characters in this instance are showing and utilizing. And finally, we have ViSchedule, which is simply a visual scheduling app. I am a big proponent for using visual schedules because it helps to stay anchored in your daily routine. ViSchedule allows you to input your own information and your own visuals so it can be tailored to your needs. The schedule is easy to set up and easy to use and completely customizable. This one only has 9 reviews. It is at 4.3 stars and it is 99 cents. I think it's a great app to invest in. It's also online outside of being an app. So again, this is going to fall into that AAC category a little bit, where you're looking at those visual cues to help prompt communication. In this instance, you're using visual cues to create scheduling effects. All right, so after learning about those for Let Me Talk, the AAC device, basically, the Endless Reader, which was the educational app, the Hoopster Saturday Club for Kids, which helps with social and emotional learning, and then ViSchedule, which was the virtual or visual schedule. Let me know which one you are currently using, plan to use, or which one may or may not be something that you're interested in at this time. All right, so again, that was apps to help manage autism during COVID-19. We know that COVID-19 has certainly changed the outlook for parents as well as adults that are experiencing one another on that spectrum. It has certainly taken a toll on all of our educational facets. IEPs are looking different. IEP meetings, 504 plans are being facilitated in a different manner. So let me know what your thoughts are and if you'd even like to add some apps onto this list.